Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to this morning's coffee break. My name is Fleetus Post, and today I'd like to talk about AI agents and how they're the new digital employee and why identity lifecycle management must evolve. So let's talk about the shift that's happening right in front of us. But many organizations have not yet fully recognized it yet or even discussing it. We need to start treating AI agents like employees. Now, before anyone says AI isn't human, let me clarify. I'm not suggesting AI agents belong in the HR system or should receive performance reviews. What I am suggesting is that we form an identity, security, and governance perspective. AI agents are rapidly becoming our digital workers, and we need to manage them accordingly. The organizations that recognize this early will be able to safely scale AI. Organizations that don't will eventually find themselves facing the same governance problems we've experienced for the past 20 years. When privileged accounts, service accounts, and shared identities start proliferating, start sprawling across our enterprise. The difference is that AI agents can act autonomously, make decisions, and execute tasks at a machine speed. This is a game changer for organizations, no matter if you're a small to mid-sized business, an enterprise, or even a multi-million-dollar company. So let's play out this AI employee analogy. Think about what happens when you hire a new employee. We don't simply hand them the keys to the building and hope for the best. We have a process. We onboard them. We provision their accounts. We assign the appropriate access rights. We verify their manager, and then we train them. Additionally, we always review their permissions periodically, at least in most organizations. This could be monthly, quarterly, or even semi-annually. And when they leave the company, we disable their access and then recover the assets. Every step in that life cycle exists because unmanaged access ultimately creates risk. So now ask yourself this. What happens today when someone creates an AI agent capable of reading SharePoint, accessing email, querying your systems through APIs, writing code and generating your reports? Or the AI agent is making decisions based on data. In many organizations, the answer is disturbingly simple. Someone created an API key. The next person or the same person granted it permissions. Someone then connects to a few systems, and everyone forgets about it. That's not onboarding. That's not governance. That's certainly not identity management. So we must treat AI agents as our digital workers. An AI agent is no longer just a chatbot. Modern agents can now access corporate knowledge bases. They can read and summarize our employees' emails. They execute workflows. They call APIs. They interact with many of our SaaS applications. Your AI agents are generating documents. They're opening tickets. They're launching infrastructure tasks. They're also making recommendations that are influencing business decisions all the way up to your executive leadership team. In other words, simply put, they're performing work. And if they're performing work, they're definitely digital employees or workers. For years, identity governance and administration programs expanded from human users to service accounts, privileged accounts, and even third-party users, which includes your contractors, the bots, and the robotic processing that we've used in manufacturing for many years. AI agents are simply the next evolution. The problem is that many AIM and IGA programs have not caught up yet. We must consider how we're going to onboard our AI agents. So it's day one. Let's start with, I've hired you, Fleetus, in this case, me, Fleetus, to work for your organization. So let's start the onboarding. On day one, I say, I've got an agent. What are you going to do about that? Let's onboard the agent. Every AI agent should have a formal creation process. And at minimum, organizations should know who owns the agent. In this case, it's me. What business process does it serve? Let's call it a Power BI automation. What data can I access? Well, it's in Power BI, so it's whatever data I've piped into it. What systems can it interact with? Microsoft, Power BI, probably a file share. Who's approving its permissions? Hopefully it's not me as the owner. And what level of autonomy does it have? Think about how we onboard a new intern, senior, or any other executive. It's a new employee. We don't just grant them domain admin rights by default. Likewise, AI agents should be provisioned according to least privilege principles. If an AI assistant only needs to read documents from a project site, it doesn't need to have permissions to access the entire corporate intranet or even the actual internet. If an AI agent generates reports, it shouldn't be able to modify financial records. Identity governance begins at creation, not after deployment. Next, let's talk about access reviews and our certifications. You must have periodic access reviews. One of the most common findings in identity audits is permission creep. Employees change roles. Project ends. People accumulate access over time. The exact same thing will happen and is happening with the AI agents that we create today. An AI agent designed for a pilot project may later gain access to additional systems. Another team may integrate new APIs. Someone may grant temporary rights and forget to remove them. Suddenly, an AI assistant that started with access to a single SharePoint site now has visibility into finance, HR, engineering, even customer data. This is why AI agents must participate in your identity certification campaigns, just like your employees and contractors. So what questions should I ask regularly? First, does the agent still need this access? Is the business owner still employed and still accountable? Are the permissions aligned with its current purpose? And is the agent accessing sensitive or proprietary information unnecessarily? If you're reviewing your people annually, why wouldn't you review autonomous systems operating 24 hours a day? As I've spoke many times before, we have to think about our API keys, as they are our new passwords. Historically, you and I have just focused on our username and password. Then we focused on our privileged credentials. Now we're entering a new era where API keys, tokens, certificates, and machine credentials are becoming primary targets. Many AI agents operate using machine identity. These identities frequently rely on an API key, an OAuth token, security principles, client secrets, or even certificates. These credentials often receive less scrutiny than human accounts. You heard that right. They're not scrutinized like they should be. An API key may remain active for years without rotation. Imagine allowing your employee to keep the same password indefinitely while accessing sensitive systems. We would never allow that, yet organizations routinely do exactly that with machine credentials. AI governance must include credential inventory, the automated rotation of these keys and certificates, set expiration policies, secret management, and then have monitoring and anomaly detection. Your API key rotation is not an operational inconvenience. It's now a security requirement. Additionally, we monitor our employees. We hold them accountable. One of the most important questions leaders should be asking is, if this agent takes an action, who's accountable? Every AI agent should have a business owner, a technical owner, a defined risk classification, as well as tracking its activity logs with an audit trail. We already do this for privileged accounts and critical applications. AI agents should be no different. In security, accountability is often more important than the technology. If nobody owns an AI agent, nobody's reviewing it. If nobody's reviewing it, risks are now accumulating. And eventually, these risks will become incidents. Finally, or really just additionally, do you know how to offboard an AI agent? Every project eventually ends. Every pilot eventually concludes. Every technology eventually gets replaced, yet organizations are notoriously poor at cleaning up digital identities. We've all seen orphaned accounts. We've all discovered service accounts that nobody claims ownership of. We've encountered API keys that still work years after a system was retired. Now imagine thousands, I said, of AI agents being created across your enterprise. Without proper offboarding, these agents become persistent attack surfaces. Your offboarding should include disabling the identity, revoking your API keys, removing all permissions, archiving those audit logs, don't delete them, validating that we've deleted the unused credentials, and then updating your asset inventories. If AI is hired digitally, it should be terminated digitally as well. So here's a few closing thoughts. As we move into the age of autonomous systems, identity is becoming the new control plane. The future AIM conversations won't just be about you and I, the people. It'll be about people, machines, applications, bots, service accounts, and now AI agents. Organizations that succeed with AI won't necessarily be the ones with the most advanced models. They will be the ones that can confidently answer these simple 5 questions. The first, what AI agents do we have in our environment? Second, who owns them? Third, what can they access? Fourth, how are we monitoring? Do we monitor them? And then the fifth and final question, do we shut them down when they're no longer needed? Those are your identity governance questions. And the sooner we bring AI agents into our onboarding, certification, credential management, and offboarding processes, the safer and more scalable our AI programs will become. So I appreciate you joining this morning and taking some time on your Saturday morning to enjoy this coffee break with me. Please enjoy the rest of your weekend. And remember, if AI agents can perform work on behalf of your organization, it deserves the same lifecycle governance as any employee who walks through the front door on Monday morning. So as always, stay safe and stay secure, everyone.